Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you again from what is the 41st day of captivity here in America. And on a sad note, what has been a rather traumatic weekend, end of the week for the Ramdino family. We'll get into that a little bit. Lost a good friend of the family this past weekend, kind of indirectly to what's happening in the world now. I'll share that with you at the end of the video. But let's go ahead and get on with the update and the reason you came here to my channel today. Hopefully you came here looking at what's going on with the Appalachian Trail and the thru hikers and the hiker community in general this week. If you like what you got today, like what you hear, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hope you subscribe to this channel, and by all means, please leave a comment section. I want to hear from everybody out there, whether you're a thru hiker, a section hiker, lasher, whatever. But let's go ahead and get on with the update. So, who's out there on the trail? What's going on with those folks? People that I've got updates for. There have been some people that have returned to the trail. People are getting ready to return to the trail, and hopefully we're going to get turned loose and everybody can eventually turn to the trail here in the very near future. But we got Joe Hikes. He is still out there on the Patagonia Trail, and he crossed over into Georgia and said that it was really great sitting down to a restaurant and eat inside of a restaurant instead of on the curve for a change. So good to hear that. Good to see that, Joe. Looks like you're having a great time on the Patagonia Trail. Nutty Hiker, she plans to be getting back on the trail in June, and that depends on some stuff that she's got going on at home. She's because of what's occurred, she's going to be having to do an augmented flip-flop, so she may not be able to do a continuous sections at a time, and she may have to be doing some lashes, which is a long A section hike in between going back and forth to the home for some family events that are coming up. But she does plan to get out there and finish possibly by the end of spring of 2021 if she needs that much time, because in 2022 she is heading to the PCT. So that's great. Hope you get done with it, Nutty Hiker. Pipes, he is on the trail and he's still out there, and he has passed the 1/3 mark. He has passed the Triple Crown in Virginia, and hoping that the shanties open as soon as possible. He's slowing down a bit just so that he can maybe not have to shuttle around the shanties. And he's like a lot of us when he slows down. You know, we all have our pace, and for folks that hike at a quicker pace, it's kind of difficult to slow down, but that's what he's doing. Owlcat, she's also passed the Triple Crown, and she's heading in somewhere around Delville. Crusoe, he is getting back on the trail possibly today, somewhere around Damascus, and head north, and he'll be joining up with Night Train somewhere around Atkins. BJ, she plans to get back on the trail in June, and she sent us a video like I had asked folks to do. And BJ, go ahead and tell us what's going on with you.
Hey Ramdino, it's BJ from the AT 2020 Flip-Flop channel. I thought I'd take you up on your request for a 30-second update. I am continuing to prepare for my hike. I am at home. I am now retired and waiting to get on trail using the Walk the Distance app. And I am in Shenandoah National Park virtually near the Loft Mountain Campground.
Thanks a lot for sending that video in, BJ. We greatly appreciate that. Looking forward to you getting out there on the trail. Melinda O'Brien, she plans to start her flip-flop sometime in early June from Harpers Ferry. Hickory, he plans to get back on the trail at Harpers Ferry sometime in mid-May. Bounce, he is still on the trail, and he is somewhere around the Guillotine. Forget for Bear, he is north of Pearisburg. And Mustang Sally, she is doing great. While she's waiting to get back on the trail, she is doing some yard work and even adding a few decorations like blazes just to kind of remind her of the trail. And she is trying to stay in hiker shape as much as possible by even doing yard work with her pack. So Mustang Sally, we appreciate you sending in that pictures, and hope more of you will do the same. Bardo Patrol, he is back on the trail, and he is north of the shanties. Hot Grease and his family, they're back on trail, and they are somewhere around Mount Rogers minus Screwball. So it's my understanding Screwball hopefully will be joining them a little later. New Hampshire Hiker, she dropped a day hiking video, so we appreciate her doing that. Looking forward to seeing other folks' videos out there. I know some of you have been doing that, and we've greatly enjoyed that to help us pass the time until folks can get out there. Another group that's done that is the Blazing Bakers. They also dropped another video this past week, and they've been doing that here for the past few weeks since they've been off the trail, just to kind of get us caught up with where they were on the trail and how things were going. So Bakers, we appreciate that, greatly enjoying those. Hiking with Brad, she dropped a live Q&A video today, so it's good to hear from her, and she puts out some really good videos and is real honest and upfront with what's going on, and she is contemplating to get back on the trail in June 1st. So, folks, if you got some videos, I'd love to get those here. I'll be glad to feature those on an update for next week. Just email those to me. That's the best way to get those to me, is by email. If you send it to me in Instagram or Facebook, I don't have a way to capture that. I'm not smart enough to do that. So if somebody else is out there that can direct me to how to capture it from Instagram or Facebook, wonderful. But otherwise, please send those to me at ramdinoroamingthetrails@gmail.com. And if you're out there on the trail, send me a video or send me just a simple update. Let me know how you're doing. We want to feature everybody that's out there, and a lot of folks are following people out there, so we want to know where you are on the trail, and when you're getting back on the trail. So send those updates to me. I want to mention as many folks as possible as that we can do that. Well, so what else is going on out there at the trail? Well, we got a lot of positive stuff happening. States are opening up and down that the trail goes through, and I'm thinking that as more and more states open up and loosen restrictions, that more and more portions of the trail are going to open up. And so things like up there in Delaware Water Gap, while the parking and the campsites are closed, the trail is still open. And as per their website, with the exception of some listed places below, the trail is pretty much open. You may not be able to camp around these specific campsites, but you could probably stealth camp in some areas up there. I've also been told by some New Jersey hikers that New Jersey's opening up. And but it's kind of hard to determine what is open in New Jersey and what is not. If you look here at what I found online, you got a lot of red and some green, and it constantly changes. And I came across a post where they opened a section, or they opened a trailhead, and then they had to close it because there was too many people utilizing that. So you know, they couldn't maintain their social distancing. So that's the same thing, reason why they shut down everything. So hopefully folks will kind of get on board with what's going on, and the fact that they are starting to open some stuff up, and when they come to a trailhead, like they've told us in Smokies, when you come to a trailhead, and there's a lot of cars parked there, go on to the next trailhead, and until you find a place where there's not so many cars. And speaking of the Smokies, North Carolina is loosening their restrictions going into phase 1 on May 8th of this upcoming week, and it looks like the Smokies are going to be opening May 9th, so that's pretty exciting. And my expectation is, as Virginia opens up, the Shanties are going to do likewise, and other state parks and other national parks where the AT goes through, that they will start opening up. Stanley Man and Fred H indicated to me that you can still hike and camp through Bear Mountain Park there in New York, just not at the shelters, and the roads are closed in there, so you can't park. But folks may be able to get in there to you to drop off some resupply for you. But in any case, you can hike there, and you can camp. You just can't camp at any of the campsites that are in there, or any of the official campsites or shelters. John Dawson, he reported that the trails and the parking at Mount Rogers is open, and he did a day hike with his wife up there this past week, and so it looks like you can get through the Mount Rogers Grayson Highlands area. New Hampshire hiker from my last video, she left a comment, and she indicated that the trailheads are closed up through the Whites, but you still can get in there. I did see an update from the Whites, or the AMC website, where a lot of campsites have closed now through there, and even some campsites that are on feeder trails to the AT through the Whites in New Hampshire. So I don't know if it's even possible now with those campsites to closed, if you can get through there. So if somebody knows that, please let me know. This is definitely a community effort, the information that I get, so it's not just about me. It's not about me doing the research. It's about you folks out there in the hiker community giving me the information, and I'm just here facilitating that. So I appreciate all the information you've given me. And if anybody knows if you can get through the whites without staying in the official campsites, then I would greatly appreciate you getting back to me and letting me know that. Corner, he's also from New Hampshire, and he again told me that the campsites are closing down up there. And he indicated also that if people are going to be doing a Sobo or flip-flop, that they may have some issues. So hopefully by the time they get that far north, those campsites will be open up there, although the AMC huts through the whites will not be opening this hiker season. PTL clued me in that the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, as I indicated before, will be opening May 9th. He was the first one to tell me that, so I appreciate that, PTL. Thanks for getting that back to me there. And one of the things that I think is going to be pretty neat is it's kind of gotten lost in all this, though, is that the bridge at Harpers Ferry that was taken out by train derailment that the trail walks over, the bridge now is under contract, as I understand it, to start in May, construction or reconstructing it, and it should be done in July. And if things get opened up and the trail gets to where we can officially get out there, they will start shuttles. So I had to hear that from the Canal Partnership Facebook page, not from the ATC, not from their Facebook page, not from their Twitter feed, not from their website, not anywhere. So I'm a little salty about that why the Canal Partnership has it on there, but blocks away from the ATC, and the AT runs across it and utilizes that same trail, that same bridge on the railroad trestle there. Why the ATC is not reporting that. So some of the things that I'm not quite understanding why they do what they do. One of the things that I've always been a little salty about is they still have bear reports that are listed as current, but they're from 2019. So, you know, bears right now, or certainly, I mean, they've been there all winter, particularly when hikers have started, bears are hibernating. So they're not around those shelters when hikers first start, but yet those alerts are still up there. So looks like to me they ought to take those down and then post them as new bear alerts come in. So it's not really current, and I think it should be. But in any case, that's the good news. The positive side of that is that the bridge is going to be completed sometime in July, and if things get open, there will be some shuttles to get around that section there. Like I said, the Great Smoky Mountains is opening up on May 9th. There's no word from the Shannons. 90 miles of the AT in Massachusetts is open for hiking, but not for overnight camping. So you can still hike there, you just can't overnight camp through that state, but you can get people to shuttle you, through maybe a day or so. You could get 90 miles through there. Hopefully you could get through there in maybe 4 different hostel stays. So New Jersey, they have reopened their state parks and forests, and so it's going to be, you'll be able to get through that area there in New Jersey, although there are, like I said before, there are some closures and there's no telling what's going to be open or closed. So if you're in New Jersey and you can shed some light on that for us, then definitely leave a comment down there or send me an email, and I'll be glad to get that posted on our next update. So one of the things that I said before when we first started was that I lost a good friend of mine, and that good friend was our family pet, Roxy. Roxy, we had had Roxy for 10 years. I had raised her for a pup, and she was a Labrador Retriever, and she was truly, truly a member of the family. More than a friend, I guess. There's been many times, and y'all have met Roxy before. You've seen her as a thumbnail. You've seen her in a video or two. It's been very difficult when you lose a family member like that. We struggled with her for the past 3 years with a paw issue that I just could not get healed. But that's not really necessarily what she succumbed to. And here's where the virus got to her in an indirect manner. I had her I was taking her to NC State to the vet clinic there to look at her paw, and in the meantime I had to have her on steroids. And I believe that because I had to have her on those steroids, it gave her pancreatitis. and then that developed into clots, which eventually just began to destroy portions of her gastrointestinal system. And so ultimately, I could not get to NC State because as soon as I had the appointment, then the virus hit and they quit seeing patients except on an emergency basis. At the time, we didn't think it was an emergency, but then she deteriorated, and so it became an emergency. Then they tightened restrictions even more after they said they would see her on an emergency, and then I couldn't get her to in time, and eventually she deteriorated to the point where we took her to the emergency clinic, and after doing a lot of scans and actually exploratory, we had to go ahead and put her at peace. So that was really a very difficult thing for me. It's very personal for me, and I think that as part of the community, you grow from each other by sharing in your personal trials and tribulations. So if that's not something you expected or too personal for you, I apologize for that. But Roxy meant the world to me, and she will be severely missed. You've probably seen the black dog running around here. That's Coda, and Coda has now moved into the therapy dog position. So we're grateful that the Lord provided us with Coda before we knew we needed Coda. Coda's full-blooded lab, and somebody just gave Coda to us. So that has been a comfort for me. Another comfort for me is my religion and where I am. If you're not a religious person, I get that, and now's the time that if not something you're interested in hearing from me, it's something that I am going to share with you, though. And so I find solace in thinking that and really knowing that I'll see Roxy again. I'm a Christian, and my Christian beliefs tell me that Jesus is coming back again, and when he does, he's coming back on a white horse. Well, if horses are in heaven and Jesus rides back on one, I have a hard time believing that horses are the only animal in heaven. And there's a couple verses of scripture I wanted to share with you that kind of give me solace, and if you've ever lost a pet, maybe it'll give you solace too. And this is from Isaiah 11:6. The wolf will live with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. So all those animals, that is from Isaiah, which is a book of prophecy, and that portion of the book is talking about the future and what happens eventually when Jesus comes and takes us all back to heaven. So with all those animal references in there that saying they're all going to live together and lay down together, I have to believe that they're going to be in heaven. And then lastly, from Psalms 150, verse 6, one day perfect peace will reign, and everything that has breath, including animals, will praise the Lord. Including animals, I added that myself, but animals have breath, and I believe that they'll do the same thing. So I find solace in that, and hopefully, if you ever lost a pet, I know all that pales into comparison to what we're going through right now, pales into comparison to people losing folks. I get that, and my prayers go out to everybody out there that's suffering in any way, shape, or form. But for me, that's where I'm at this week. So I appreciate you watching. And as always, look forward to seeing you out here.